At 6:04 p.m., most of Venezuela's population was gathered inside their homes to observe a national holiday. That quiet evening shattered instantly when a massive 7.2 magnitude earthquake violently struck, tearing through building foundations and dropping ceilings onto residents. But the real destruction was still coming. Exactly 39 seconds after the first tremor, a second, even more powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake tore through the already weakened structures. Entire city blocks were swallowed by thick plumes of dust. At the Maiquetía International Airport, the ceiling suddenly caved in, sending people running for their lives as the terminal fractured around them. This chart shows chilling casualty projections from the U.S. Geological Survey. Because the state hasn't released official figures, we must look at these probabilities: a 44% chance that over 10,000 have died, and a grim 30% probability that the toll could climb past 100,000. By striking right in the middle of a national holiday, these two back-to-back tremors caught millions of people exactly where they were most vulnerable, indoors. To understand how two massive quakes can trigger within seconds, we have to look deep underground at the Earth's crust. Venezuela sits directly on top of the jagged boundary line where the massive Caribbean and South American tectonic plates collide. This specific collision zone experiences a process called shallow strike-slip faulting. Instead of one plate sliding underneath another, these two landmasses grind horizontally against each other, side by side. They snag on one another for years, building up an immense amount of tension until they finally snap. That snap released so much lateral energy that it triggered a complex chain reaction. The Earth fractured violently, and then 39 seconds later, it fractured again, followed by over 20 intense aftershocks. Because this specific type of tectonic friction is highly volatile, the ground beneath the rescue crews remains dangerously unstable. Back on the surface, the shock waves hammered the northern coastal states the hardest, ripping straight through La Guaira, Aragua, Carabobo, and Falcón. National infrastructure instantly flatlined. Authorities grounded all flights and completely shut down the country's entire metro and train networks. Facing total paralysis across the affected regions, acting President Delcy Rodriguez declared a nationwide state of emergency. The government immediately placed a military general in direct command of search and rescue operations, while the Interior Ministry pleaded with citizens to evacuate their compromised homes and sleep out in the open. By completely halting all major transit and handing emergency control to the military, the government essentially placed the entire nation in severe triage. The sheer scale of the devastation immediately triggered a massive international rescue effort. In Washington, President Donald Trump ordered federal agencies to rapidly dispatch heavily equipped search and rescue teams alongside emergency medical supplies. Across Latin America, neighbors mobilized. El Salvador deployed 300 rescue workers and 50 tons of supplies, while Brazilian President Lula da Silva and Mexican officials pledged immediate logistical support. The diplomatic response reached across the globe, with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi publicly committing to provide all possible assistance to the grieving families. Meanwhile, in Venezuela, multi-agency crews are locked in a frantic race against the clock, fighting to pull survivors from the wreckage before the aftershocks bring more concrete down. Thousands of citizens stand near piles of rubble, enduring an agonizing wait for official casualty numbers and any word on their missing families. As the true scope of the devastation is slowly uncovered, Venezuela's path forward relies heavily on how well its shattered domestic rescue forces can integrate with this massive wave of international aid.